Amy and Brittany's emotional collapse, as Chris Combs fights for his life after suffering a massive stroke, marks one of the darkest tragedies the 1000 LB Sisters family has ever faced. Hi everyone. This is Jennifer from 90 Day Insider, and I'm back with another emotional update. This one is difficult to report. Stay with me as we uncover the heartbreaking details, behind-the-scenes accounts, and the latest developments surrounding Chris's terrifying health crisis. News broke suddenly. Chris Combs, Amy and Tammy Slaton's beloved brother, had been rushed to the hospital after collapsing from a severe stroke. The shock sent ripples through the fandom of 1000 LB Sisters. For years, Chris has been the stable anchor of the Slaton family, the calm, dependable voice when chaos and scandals threatened to destroy them. And now, in an agonizing twist of fate, the rock who always carried everyone else is the one lying in critical condition, in desperate need of prayers and support. The nightmare began like any ordinary morning. Chris complained of being unusually exhausted, which Brittany, his devoted partner, initially brushed off. After all, Chris had been balancing his health journey with family responsibilities, and fatigue was not unusual. But the situation escalated in an instant. His speech became slurred. He tried to laugh it off, telling Brittany not to worry. But within minutes, his arm went limp, and his body collapsed onto the floor. Brittany's panic was immediate. She screamed his name, dialed 911 with trembling hands, and begged dispatchers to send an ambulance as fast as possible. Amy, who has always been closest to Chris, fell apart the second she heard the word stroke. Family insiders revealed she was sobbing uncontrollably as the reality sank in that her brother's life was slipping away. Meanwhile, paramedics loaded Chris into the ambulance, lights flashing, sirens blaring, racing against time. Strokes leave no margin for delay, and every second meant the difference between life and death. At the hospital, Brittany clung to his hand, tears rolling down her cheeks. Witnesses recall her whispering over and over, "Please don't leave us, Chris. You're my rock. You're my everything." It was described as one of the most gut-wrenching scenes imaginable, watching a woman refuse to let go, as if her words alone could hold him to this world. Tammy, often known for her sharp wit and complicated dynamic with her siblings, was stunned into silence. For once, her loud personality gave way to quiet devastation. Her hands shook, her face pale, as she tried to process the gravity of what was happening. Doctors worked frantically, rushing Chris through scans and emergency procedures. But for the family, all that could be done was waiting, crying, and praying. Amy collapsed when she caught her first glimpse of Chris being wheeled into the ICU. Her sobs echoed through the corridor as she begged, "That's my brother. Please God, don't take him from us." Nurses and relatives had to guide her into a chair as she struggled to catch her breath. Online, fans rallied with hashtags like #PrayForChris and #StayStrong, flooding social media with love, support, and stories of their own family members who had survived strokes. Many expressed how unimaginable the show and the Slaton family would be without Chris's humor and steady presence. One fan wrote, "He's always been their glue. If he doesn't make it, everything falls apart." Inside the sterile hospital walls, the atmosphere was suffocating. Amy and Brittany wept openly. Brittany refused to leave Chris's side. Even as paramedics shouted medical instructions, she staggered alongside the gurney, whispering desperately, "I'm here. I'm right here." Staff gently tried to pull her back, but she resisted, unwilling to let go of the man who was her world. Amy arrived moments later, her face swollen with grief. Witnesses recall her clutching her chest, gasping for breath as she screamed through the swinging ICU doors, "That's my brother." Family members had to hold her up as she cried uncontrollably. Tammy, pale and trembling, sat quietly in her wheelchair, whispering to herself, "I can't lose him, I just can't." Doctors moved with urgency. Commands barked across the ice, machines beeped frantically. Every moment was heavy with the possibility of loss. Chris's condition was critical, and doctors warned the family that the next 48 hours would decide his fate. As the family held vigil, fans across the world stayed glued to updates. Thousands of posts poured in on Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Fans shared compilations of Chris's most heartfelt moments on the show, begging him to fight. Others shared their own survival stories, offering hope. Even TLC stars and celebrities voiced support, calling Chris the heart of the Slaton family. But rumors and fear grew. Some fans accused TLC of withholding updates to build drama, while others speculated that the worst had already happened. The family, however, remained focused on Chris, refusing to leave the hospital. The night dragged on. Brittany sank to her knees outside the ICU, sobbing so violently that strangers in the hallway cried with her. "He's my world," she screamed. "He can't die. Please God, not him." Amy sat rocking in her chair, clutching her stomach, begging, "Why him? Why now? He doesn't deserve this." Tammy, uncharacteristically quiet, whispered through tears, "He was supposed to outlive us all." The Slaton family, broken in their own ways, stood united by grief. Outside, storms raged across Kentucky as headlines exploded. 1,000 LB sisters, star Chris Combs hospitalized after massive stroke. TLC issued a short statement, asking for privacy, but fans worldwide demanded updates, refreshing feeds by the second. Prayer groups formed online, candlelight vigils were held virtually. The fandom, often divided by the family's scandals, came together as one to fight for Chris. Yet inside the ICU the machines continued their steady beep. A cruel reminder that his life hung by the thinnest of threads. Doctors explained carefully, "We've restored some blood flow, but the swelling is severe. The next 48 hours will decide everything." Amy buried her face in her hands, whispering prayers through sobs. Brittany collapsed again, clutching her chest. Tammy, in rare silence, murmured, "He was the strong one." The family set up camp in the waiting room, refusing to leave. Plastic chairs became beds. Prayer circles filled the sterile air. Every time the ICU doors swung open, Amy and Brittany jumped, desperate for news. Yet the updates remained grim. Chris was still critical. As dawn crept through the hospital windows, the Slaton family remained in place, broken, terrified, but holding on to hope. The beeping machines inside Chris's room carried the weight of the world. Would the strong, steady brother who had carried them all survive? Or would this cruel twist of fate shatter the Slaton family forever? Only time, and Chris's own fight, could answer that.